Wilder Show podcast. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
That's me.
That's you. How you doing there, Lauren?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Okay.
It's me. It is I. I'm already anticipating something I'm going to talk to you about later, and I don't want to embarrass myself.
Okay. Yeah. Put a pin in that for a second. Instagram, if you want to follow us, you search Wilder Show Pod at Instagram. You'll find it. You follow us. That's great. If you want to send us email, just email podcast@wildershow.com. And we read them and we respond.
We do.
The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the other places, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, tell a friend about the Wilder Show podcast. And we're just really glad you're here. Speaking grammar there for a second. Was that grammar or syntax? What is that? Anyway, whatever it is.
I don't know what you're going to say yet. Well, I was thinking predominantly that like when to use me and when to use I.
Okay, yeah.
That would be grammar.
Well, when I'm at a place and they're looking up, have you shopped here before?
Yes.
And I say, yes, I have. And they say, give your phone number, whatever. And I'll give it and they will say, Scott. And I will say, I'm he. And every now and then somebody looks at me like, what? What are you talking about? From what century are you? But that is proper, right? I am he.
Yes.
No, I am he.
And from what century are you?
Yeah. What century are you from?
You just can't make a mistake.
Right. So anyway, I'm he, and she is she. That's Lauren. And so we're just going to forge ahead here. A couple of things early on. The president has made a big change. But, Marco Rubio, he must be like, what was that cereal? There was a cereal ad with the little freckled-faced boy, the younger kid, and the older kids were also freckled-faced lads.
Life cereal? Mikey likes it?
Yeah, Mikey. Give it to Mikey.
He'll eat anything.
Yeah, he'll eat anything. That's Marco Rubio.
He'll do any job?
Well, apparently, because he has to. But the USAID, remember?
Yes, I do.
They outed the chief there of USAID, and they said, hey, give it to Rubio.
They ousted, I think is what you were.
Yeah, exactly.
Outed means something different.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Yeah, they ousted. And give it to Rubio. Rubio will do it. Let him do it. I mean, he's the Secretary of State. He's got some things to do, but give him USAID.
He's got the extra bandwidth.
Yeah, sure. I saw him doing like nothing one afternoon. The bombshell ousting comes weeks after Waltz took the blame for the Signal group chat scandal, where top Trump administration officials accidentally shared those with a journalist. That was Mike Waltz.
What was the? And I could be misremembering.
Go ahead.
Did he take the blame, or was he really responsible?
He did. I saw the Atlantic guy on Meet the Press.
Okay.
And the Atlantic guy said, "Look, all I did was I accepted an invitation to a chat from a guy that I've corresponded with before as part of my job. From there, all I did was read what they sent.
Yeah.
But it was Mike Waltz that invited the journalist. So Mike Waltz is out as President Trump's national security advisor. Now, there's several layers of problems with that whole Signal scandal and who got to see it and Hegseth, of course, was the one that was sending it to other people that arguably should never have gotten it. But it was Mike Waltz that invited onto that group chat in Signal. He invited Jeffrey Goldberg. And Jeffrey Goldberg is the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic.
Yes.
So a lot of people were, calling for the head of, figuratively, the head of Mike Waltz. The guy who's got to go. Well, he's no longer a national security advisor, the national security advisor for the president, because he got a promotion.
Wait.
The president has put him as the ambassador to the United Nations. So Mike Waltz, the president, announced, he wrote on Truth Social yesterday afternoon, I am pleased to announce that I will be nominating Mike Waltz to be the next United States ambassador to the United Nations. In the interim, Mikey will serve as national security advisor while continuing his strong leadership at the State Department and overseeing USAID.
That's a lot of jobs. So the other guy, the first, he didn't really, it's not Mike like Waltz. Mike Waltz, he didn't get in trouble. But it's not like he was getting It's like we can't trust him with security, but let's put him over here.
Right. He was not reprimanded. So it's not. But the bottom line is you might have said, well, we're going to get him out of this one role. Maybe we don't want him in this role, but we're not going to kick him under the bus.
Yeah.
We're going to send him over here. You got a promotion. So you got a good deal. The statement by the president came just hours after it came out that Waltz would be exiting the role at the National NSA.
Yeah.
But his future was still unclear. So during the National Day of Prayer event at the White House in the Rose Garden, Trump praised several of his cabinet members and the work that they'd been doing. He did not mention anything about Waltz during those remarks. Well, by the afternoon on that day, yesterday, on National Day of Prayer, Waltz acknowledged the position change on X, sharing a screenshot of President Trump's announcement. I'm deeply honored to continue my service to President Trump and our great nation. He goes on. His exit from the current role is the first major staff shakeup of the administration since he took office in January.
Gotcha.
So Waltz is on to the next thing.
So 100 days without a major staff shakeup. 101. 101,
yeah, it's good.
102?
So it's yeah. So a lot of people thought that Waltz would be the fall guy, in this thing, that he would have to take. But, a promotion, I guess.
Yeah, can you really call him the fall guy?
I don't think so. I mean, get another cushy job. And I say cushy, who knows? I don't know what you do at the United Nations, but.
Most of us aren't so lucky, right? If you make a mistake, if you make what could be considered a critical error or an error that puts your judgment into question. We don't get a promotion after that. Right?
Right. That's not been my experience.
Nor mine.
that happened. Doesn't happen to me. Hey, government work. Speaking of, I didn't mean to transition this way, but it's kind of it's not political, but you see that story out of Pittsburgh? We've been to that park. We've both been to that park. I've seen a game in that park.
Yeah.
It's a great park. All those parks in Pittsburgh are all downtown, and you have PNC Park.
Yep.
Baseball is what we're talking.
Right.
And this guy fell over the railing.
He did.
And was it in the outfield or where was it?
It was the 21-foot-high Clemente wall.
Yeah, Roberto Clemente. I had, not that people at home care about this, I don't put it near as important as this man's life or death situation. But I had the Roberto Clemente Baseball Trading Cup from 7-Eleven.
That's a great tie-in. It's a right field at PNC
There's
Park.
A big statue of Roberto Clemente right outside
there is. I've taken pictures of that before. Yeah, the Pirates were playing the Cubs, and the man fell over that railing. It was terrible. The emergency crews came out and they tended to the man for a couple of minutes, took him out on a truck, and he is, as of this moment, he is still in critical condition.
Okay, let me ask some questions because I didn't even see. I think I don't look at things on the news when they say be careful. I just don't look. I don't watch because I can't unsee them.
Yeah,
and so I don't even. I mean, like a little child, I turn my head. I don't ever look at it. So I didn't see was he falling down onto other people or down to concrete or down onto the field?
He fell onto the warning track.
Oh, my lands.
Fell onto the warning track in right field just as Pirates' Andrew McCutchen hit a 2-run double in the 7th inning that put Pittsburgh ahead of the Cubs 4-3. And as that happened, players started waving frantically for medical personnel to come and pointing to the man who they had seen, fall. Yeah.
How many feet?
21 feet.
No
well,
way.
The wall is 21 feet high. And so I'm guessing if the wall is 21 feet high, there must have been some railing over it. And then he fell over that.
Well, he wasn't like going for the ball or anything. It was just, right?
I don't. It just says it was an accident. Yeah. So they've attached nothing else to that. But I I guess.
I'm afraid
that would be what you'd expect. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, if it had been, more people would have been paying attention to it. In other words, it happened away from the action.
Yes.
And so players are going, hey, did you see what happened over there? And this wasn't like, I hate to bring up really bad memories, had that guy fall and die. at the Texas Rangers game.
Yeah.
When Josh Hamilton tossed a ball up to this guy.
A foul ball or something like that?
Like the end of an inning. He caught the ball. He turns around and tosses it.
Man.
And the guy leans over in front of his son to catch it, and he falls and dies right in front of his son.
Just tragic.
And by the way, Josh Hamilton was never the same.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that impact. Horrible. Afraid to ask if alcohol was involved, but sometimes at sporting events, some people drink too much, maybe.
Yeah.
I hope not, but it wasn't nefarious. It was an accident, and the guy fell.
I don't know if we'll ever find out anything about that. Nothing like that has been reported right now, but it was the 7th inning, which is enough time for someone to have. I don't know. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say anything negative about anybody that
last
I
call
don't. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, hopefully he's going to be fine. Rare earth mineral deal has been signed.
I saw that
with Ukraine. It's complicated. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's not. It's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. With that deal now signed, I think that Volodymyr
Zelensky.
Exactly, Zelensky. Has the ear of the president now, and we'll see. And Putin, of course, the president's had some negative things to say about Putin, so we'll see. Maybe the earth has righted itself, and we'll see. China and tariffs. I meant to say something else about China a while back. And the whole thing is, that we've talked before about how China sells its products everywhere. And China is very restrictive about what products from other countries are sold in China. Put huge tariffs on it. In fact, don't allow some kinds of things to be sold there. If you sell certain things there, they demand to know, like, let's say, I don't know if this is the case. It's something like this, though. If you sold something there that was patented, you have to, show them the patent or give them access to the patent. And what happens is a lot of times there's huge intellectual property theft by China against those who want to sell in China. So one of the risks, if you're going to sell in China, is that your stuff's going to get pirated.
Right.
People will sell you like DVDs in those days, DVDs of brand new movies. I mean, brand new movies.
Yeah.
For like $1. So anything that is sold, intellectual properties, music, movies, anything, DVDs in the old days, software, huge pirating risk in China. Now, what I wanted to say about this in a previous time, we were talking about tariffs in China and the risk of having your things sold in China is this. I remember there was a guy that I knew, and I could say his name, and nobody would know, but it doesn't matter. There's a guy that I knew, very, very rich. I didn't know him personally. I knew him through some things. And he was personally paying for a translation of the Bible.
Okay.
So it was like the NIV or the ESV or the New American Standard or whatever. He was personally paying, and it took a long time, like 8 years, to go back to the original language and have a separate translation of the Bible. And he was only going to release it on software. And he was going to release it into China. And in talking to him about it, I said, all that stuff there gets stolen.
Yeah.
He said, that's why I'm doing it.
Oh, wow.
I want to do that. I'm investing this money in this product that I will own. So nobody else can say, hey, don't do that, or it's copyright infringement. It's mine. And I am doing it for that purpose. I want it to be stolen.
So he wasn't trying to make money on it.
No.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
He wanted to put it into the system there in China and mark it up at like $200 or whatever it'd be. And knowing that people say, wow, $200, I could bootleg this and I could sell this for like $5 or $2 or $1 or whatever all over China. And that's what he did.
That is very cool.
Isn't that a great idea?
I love it.
So more people would get access to the Bible that would perhaps never. Now, they might have to, a little repenting there at some point, understand they bought stolen goods. But his point was, I want to get this message to as many people as possible. And if there are bad guys that would take it and they would make a little bit of money on it, as long as they get it to more and more people, it can go where I can't go.
Right.
It can go where some even humans can't go. And so he said, we don't tell them we endorse them doing it, but we want them to do it. We want them to see it as a valuable thing that they can make money from if they will just steal it and then spread it around.
Wow.
A fun story. A U.S. district judge has declared that the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act to get those Venezuelans out of Texas, that is unlawful, that he can't do it. And it reminds me of this. The only way to get these people out who are here illegally is to never let them in. Because once they're in, even our court system is protecting their ability to stay here. It's like that's why it's so important to have a border that is secure and have people either self-deport, which I think is a good thing because the magnet has gone away if they are already here and they leave, or to have people in other countries go, man, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to try and get in there.
Right.
I can't get in there anymore because it does feel like that you have illegal aliens, illegal migrants, immigrants, illegal immigrants in the country. And everything should say, they got to go back. Well, some judge in some state, some district judge, U.S. district judge says, no, you can't now. But you could argue he's not saying you can't do it, just saying you can't use that act from 18, whatever it was, as the reason why. But boy, doesn't it feel like no matter what you try and do to get the guys who should never be here to get out, everybody's standing against you. Oh, she's got a child that has cancer. Okay. Well, he's had a hard time. Okay. Well, you can. Oh, okay. I mean, sure. Come on in, everybody. I mean, I don't think it makes you crazy.
Yeah.
The only way to make sure you get them out is to never let them in. One more sports thing from this week. This is sort of falls under news. We had talked about Luka and Luka returning.
Luka the Laker.
Luka the Laker. In the the first round of the playoffs, which, of course, the Mavericks didn't make it to because we lost the play-in.
Really close, yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's who would have thought that Luka and LeBron would be out in round one?
I know.
Losing 4-1 to the Timberwolves and losing that last game, that fifth game, at home. So Luka and LeBron are out. I want good things for Luka, but not enough.
So much as a Laker?
Well, no. I mean, I don't want the team to do well. I want him to score all the points and make all the things and triple doubles and whatever, all the things that he could do, all the personal accolades while they lose. That's what I want because I can't root for the Lakers. So I'm glad they're out. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Ooh, let's go.
Scattershoot, Wilder Show, Scattershoot. Lauren, because we can do this, and we're not even going to talk about this as a topic. But man, CourtTV and that Karen Reed trial, the retrial. Yeah, it's good. It's all good stuff this week. Good witnesses.
You're spending a lot of time with those people.
I usually just listen to it sort of at the end of the day when I'm driving or if I'm falling asleep.
I've heard you listening to it during the day.
Yeah,
like during the work day.
There's a downtime. I have cheese and crackers or something.
I feel like I know a lot about it. Yeah, and that's just the overhearing.
So you're secondhand
of it,
infested with secondhand CourtTV
hearing, my secondhand knowledge of the Karen Reed.
Yeah, the other thing about that I like the trial is that they all have Boston accents.
Yeah, that is
kind of fun. They talk about the car. It was just a normal bar.
Do you have the thing where I notice this in myself more lately even? I'm all by myself and I hear somebody say something in an interesting way. It might be an accent.
Sure.
It might just be some affectation or something like that. And I'll repeat it.
Out loud?
Yes.
I do that.
And and in an effort to see how close can I get to it.
I do that.
It's not always. It's probably more often women than men, but men too. It might be the cadence. Just something interesting about it, or maybe not even interesting. And I'll repeat it just to see how close I can get.
I know we're well, you can't be far afield. This is scattershoot. We do what we want.
We get to do whatever we want.
But if you watch a lot of golf, I've said many times that the South African accent is one of my favorite accents.
Yeah.
In fact, it is my favorite accent. So you have a guy calling golf, and he talks about the guy up on 15, 14, 13, 18. He comes up to 18.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, it's fun. So I do that too. I'll sort of repeat it back like a minor bird.
I don't think I always did that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a recent thing. Kind of mimic, just like a mimic.
Mimicking things. Walking around the house talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, the CourtTV. So they met. Where did you meet? It was just a bar, just a regular bar. So it's a good trial. It's a good one. And then later this year, the big trial is going to be the Cronenberg trial. Is that his name? Isn't that the guy that did the stabbing up in Idaho? Wasn't he the strange, crazy guy? Brian is it Cronenberg?
It does start with the
Conan
K, and it starts with the K and it ends with a Berg, and I'm not sure about the middle right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
That's a big one, man.
So you'll be spending a lot of time in the evening with that too.
No, what I do is I have it on record. And so I just can go to the thing and hit play. So when I get in the car and leave after work, I'll just, I don't listen to news or whatever, and I just listen to that.
Can I speak to the audience for just a second?
Must.
It's on in the room where we are right now. It's muted.
That's true.
But it is on in the room. It's 6, 7, maybe 8 feet away from his head right now.
Yeah, well, just in case something wild happened, I could know which part to listen to first. Anyway, we'll edit all this out before it airs. But welcome to Scattershoot.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I think I'm drawn to headlines like this just because I want to see if I can pass the test. If I'm as smart as I think I am. This is 43 embarrassing grammar mistakes that even smart people make. First of all, 43 is a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, it is.
I've looked through them. I've culled it. Okay. I'm going to ask you just. I don't.
A quiz, sort of?
I don't. First of all, I was kind of joking. I don't think I am that smart.
No,
but I do take a bit of pride in being correct in grammatical things.
Well, you
probably
are
just said that wrong, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay. But you are an English major.
Oh yes,
or are an English. I cannot to this moment. I cannot diagram a sentence. I don't know about hanging participles and all that. But if you give me a way to say something, I'll say, yeah, that's not right. That's wrong. That's the wrong way to say. That's not the word. I remember this is a real quick personal story. There was a guy we worked for once. No, he worked for me, technically. And he used a word. It was a radio guy. And he used a word in a commercial. And it was a common mistake. But it was actually not a word, but it wasn't like a misuse of a word. It was not a word.
Okay.
I said, no, the word is X. And his response was, yeah, most people won't notice. It's like, I don't care if most people notice. I noticed, and you got to redo it. So anyway, I digress from your point and your little quiz.
It's that, like I said, it's a really long quiz. Yeah. I'm going to pull a couple of these out of here, and I know that you're going to get them right. Okay. If somebody talks about they're trying to protect their peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Okay. How do you spell peace?
Their peace of mind? Well, it's not PIECE.
Correct.
It's PEACE.
It's your peace. It's protecting your tranquility.
Mind.
It's
somebody
protecting
spells it peace like a piece of mind.
Apparently so.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently so. Okay, how about this? If somebody says that they're talking about something that has aroused their interest in something, and they say it piqued my interest. How would you spell piqued?
Okay, this is a really interesting one. It's not P-E-A-K-E-D.
It's not.
It's is it P-I-Q-U-E?
It is.
Yeah, piqued, P-I-Q-U-E-D.
That's right.
To pique. It piqued my interest. Yeah, that's interesting. I can see how people might. That's because people use the thing where you talk and it turns into words. What's it called? Like a voice to text.
It could be because
something
of
like that.
Yeah.
They don't. Or they don't see it's not corrected. They count on autocorrect. Well, P-E-A-K is a word,
right?
But that's the wrong spelling for that sounding word for that meaning.
Exactly right. Okay. What if somebody says this gets me too? If somebody. You're not going to believe this, really. If somebody says they pull something out of the freezer and they want to get it ready to cook, and they say they want to unthaw it. You don't
unthaw it. The thaw is the thing that you do, right? Right. You're going to thaw it.
Right.
You're not going to unthaw it.
So
if you unthaw it, you freeze it again.
That's exactly right.
It's like
that's exactly
double negative.
Right.
You know,
okay,
unthaw it.
I'm going to give you one more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this one gets me too. And I used to drill my kids on this, and I know why this is so common because it has to do with the way that we say this when we speak is different than the way it's spelled.
Okay.
If somebody talks about you must have known that you were doing the wrong thing. You
must have known that you were doing the wrong thing. Okay.
Spell.
Must have?
Yeah. Spell both of the, must. We know must. But what's the next word?
Known?
No.
Must have known?
Well, it's...
you must have known.
Yeah, spell it all out. Not the contraction.
Okay. So you mean the must have known. It's have, not of.
It is must have, but doesn't... So many people...
Must of known?
Must of, or should of, or if you would have tried... If I only would have known.
Would have known.
Yeah, it's not would have
known.
It's would have. Very common thing.
That is that list. Even the beginning of it saying that these are ones that smart people make. I
guess that's why it's embarrassing.
That's kind of tough.
It's okay. So listen. So if you want to know that you are not making any of these mistakes, shoot an email to podcast@wildershow.com.
There you go.
I will send you the entire list of the 43 embarrassing grammar mistakes that even smart people make.
Well, that's good. It's good to want to. Learning is fun. I like learning.
Learning is fun.
Yeah, there are millions that make me crazy. The word is not it's not irregardless.
That's in here.
It's irrespective.
Yeah.
Or it is regardless. It's either regardless or irrespective, but it is not irregardless.
Correct.
Very common mistake.
Very common
The other
mistake.
Common mistake is that where to use I and me. People don't really
That's
get that.
in here too.
For example, I know one of your podcast people that you listen to have them say, if I said, Susie and I's vacation pictures.
Yes, don't do that.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do that. There is no
makes my head
possessive
explode.
of, and that's not on this list. There is no possessive form of the word I.
Yeah.
You would never do
And
I
I's.
apostrophe S. You would just never do that.
Napoleon Dynamite. Could I use you guys' phone?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Could I use your
For
phone?
Napoleon, though, I might let it slide.
But I've heard people say, "Could I use you guys' for your guys'?" It's like no, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong too. Yeah. So just in case anybody wants to know, you wouldn't say my wife and I's anniversary.
Right.
What would you say?
My wife and my anniversary.
Exactly.
Because
right.
you take the wife out and you say my anniversary.
That's exactly
so
right.
it's what's left over. Does it still make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a case. See, we were drilled. It was drilled in our heads. No, you don't say and me. You say and I. I mean, well, it depends on what it is.
Right.
It depends the context and the whole sentence. And while I can't, and I say it again, I can't tell you all the rules why. The rules that it breaks, or doing it right, the rules that we're following. I can just tell you that that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's not the right way. You're talking dumb.
We're going to help you talk smart.
Don't you want to talk smart?
We'll give you lessons.
You don't want to talk dumb. This weekend is the Kentucky Derby. And I've always liked watching the Kentucky Derby. The most exciting 2 minutes in sport.
I was going to say, it's over so fast.
It is. And down the stretch they come. And I've always loved watching that. And not really in all the hats. boys and girls wearing hats and costumes and whatnot at the event. But I do like watching God's creatures run like that. And Bob Baffert has Rodriguez. Rodriguez is number 4 horse.
The name of the horse. Okay.
Yeah, just not short for anything, or it's not a part of anything. It's just the name. Rodriguez.
That's very cool.
Is the horse, and it's number 4. If for those keeping track for whatever reason you would keep track, but if you were, no pun intended, keeping track, number 4 is Rodriguez, and it's 12-1 odds. So it's kind of it's not really a long shot, but it's not likely. But people believe it sure could be Rodriguez. Bob Baffert has lots of winners in his stable, in his history. And you've been before.
I've been to the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. I was trying to figure out if it was 1988 or 1989. I knew it was a long time ago. So there's a little bit longer. I didn't actually. We went to the Kentucky Derby. We had really good friends who had a family that lived very close to Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
So we went and we stayed, with the family there. We were just a few blocks away. So we walked to Churchill Downs that day. It was a very, very rainy day, terribly rainy day. So and there were races all day. So we saw a bunch of them.
Well, most people don't know.
Right.
The Kentucky Derby, that one race is the one that makes it on the TV.
Yeah.
But there are races all day long. It's a whole day thing at Churchill Downs.
It started to rain so hard before the big race that we walked back and we watched it on television.
That's okay.
So I didn't actually. It seems kind of silly now. We were all the way there, but I wasn't actually there for the running of the Kentucky Derby. But I did go back. I thought if I could look and see who won in 1988 and who won in 1989, I might remember which one I'd been to. And it was 1989. Because 1989, the winner was Sunday Silence. And I remembered going to church in Louisville the next day, or Louisville. And at the beginning of the church service, the pastor said, we're going to observe just a moment of Sunday silence.
Oh, that's great.
It was so cool. Very cool. And a great, great memory, great experience. I'm really glad I got to do it.
Hey, even though you were in the shadow of the Twin Spires.
We were.
Which are sort of like, they're sort of like steeples to gambling, sort of. Sort of like that. An interesting side note about this weekend. Rodriguez, I told you.
Yeah.
And Tiz-tastic. Tiz-tastic is another horse in the race.
Yeah.
So Tiz-tastic and Rodriguez are actually going to be vying for the roses.
Okay.
Which that would be true for any 2 horses, right? But what makes it interesting is Tiz-tastic's sire was Tiz the Law.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
And Rodriguez's sire was Authentic.
And
in 2020, Tiz the Law came in second, only to Authentic in the Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
So both of their animal dads were in the same race that they're going to be in this coming, tomorrow.
They have a history.
The betting on, for those keeping track, the betting on of course, it's different because I say there's the whole day long, but the betting on the day last year set a record by $20 million.
Wow.
$210.7 million. $210.7 million.
That's crazy.
Bet last year on the Kentucky Derby. Ask me how much money was lost.
How much was lost?
$210.7 million was lost. Yeah, I've found money is too hard to make. It's pretty easy to spend, and it's simple to lose. So just watch it on TV and don't stay away from the OTB or your buddy at the bar.
Do you want me to tell my story about winning money on the ponies?
Sure.
I've told you that before, haven't I?
I don't remember.
I went to I went on a group trip when I was, it was a long time ago. I think I was probably in my early 20s. I won some money. I won a bet. I had no idea. I mean, I won at the time. It was like $115.
What did you put down? What did you bet? Just like $10 or $20?
Okay, I think it was on what they called an exacta.
Yeah, exactly,
you had to pick the first two. Mm-hmm. And I picked the first two, totally unfettered by knowledge.
Yeah, right.
I think I either liked their names or the color of what they were wearing. Mm-hmm. And I got it right. I think it was like either $3 or $5.
And you won $250.
And it was like $115.
That's great.
I was so excited that, this was it was practically the dark ages. I had no cell phone. We stopped on the way home and I called my mom from a payphone and told her I was so excited. And her first question was, "You're not going to want to go back and do this all the time now, are you?"
Yeah, that's the thing.
I know.
That's the thing.
But my thought, well, absolutely not. You think I'm giving away this money? I earned this money. I'm keeping this money. I'm going to spend it on shoes or something like that.
It's just something I probably should have put in the first part of the podcast. It's a political thing. But the off-year election coming up in 26. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, everyone in the House of Representatives is up every 2 years. Mm-hmm. And a third of the senators are up every 2 years because they have a 6-year term. Right. Mm-hmm. So the midterm election, you're going to have a lot of people that are up for election, even though it's not the presidential election. So it's important in a lot of ways. And I'm just looking at a story that says 2026 for Democrats in the primaries is shaping up to be, listen to this, the year of the woman.
So they just want to get a lot of women in seats? I
think women have a position of power now, or they're more maybe women running against other women. So no matter which way, it's going to be a woman that's going to, run then.
Wow. Okay.
But the point that struck me was Democrats who spend an awful lot of time not being able to answer the question, what is a woman?
Well,
are talking about how it is the year of the woman.
It's a little ironic, maybe.
It goes to what we talked about before. It's like, is it a baby or is it an unviable tissue mass? Well, it depends. It
depends on what you want it to be.
Yeah, if you want it to be, then, you're the mother, and that's a baby. If you don't want it because, you're a sophomore in college and it's not a good time for you, then you're a woman. It's a choice, and that's no big deal. And the same way, is she a woman? What's a woman if we're talking about girl power? Mm-hmm. But otherwise, when you ask them, what is a woman? If you're going to talk about the year of the woman, it seems like it should fall on you to be able to at least define what is a woman. And they all know what the answer to the question is. They know what a woman is, but they're so afraid of telling the truth on that. And yet they play that woman card when they want to for things like this. Anyway, boots. I wear boots. I don't wear boots all the time anymore, but I mean, when I was a kid.
You mean like cowboy boots?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like Western boots.
Yeah, what other kind of boots would I wear? Like work boots, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people wear those little ankle boots.
Okay.
Now.
Or go-go boots. I could wear go-go boots.
Well, you probably don't. I mean, you're a little old for those.
These boots are made for walking. I remember listening to that from Nancy Sinatra when I was a wee lad.
That was one of the first songs I ever sang, I think. One of my earliest memories.
Nancy. No, I mean cowboy boots.
Gotcha.
And so the first pair of cowboy boots I ever bought, I think, were probably a pair of Lucchese's. And they were great. And I love the way they fit. They just fit. Now, boot making has come a long way.
Right.
This isn't, what I'm about to say is not true only for, and probably never was true only for Lucchese. But if you have a pair of Lucchese boots, and people would say, well, what makes them special? I said, well, when you buy tube socks, if you buy tube socks, they cover your feet. It's all good, right?
Sure.
But when you get socks that are made like the shape of your foot,
it's different.
That's a different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's covering. They both cover, but one really is kind of the way you want to feel. And at that time, we're talking about, clearly decades ago. Lucchese here in Texas, Lucchese was the one, the I Ching. There are others now that are great. They're all good. But Lucchese. And my skin of choice at the time, probably because it was cheaper, because those can be expensive boots, especially these days. I'm not sure I could buy one. Maybe, but maybe not. Buy a pair these days. But it was kangaroo.
Really?
It was kangaroo skin. And I took a little heat from people that thought, well, how can you wear, shoes that are made from a sweet, kangaroo. And we didn't know that the kangaroo was sweet. Some kangaroos might not be
Might have
sweet.
been a really mean kangaroo.
Could be one of those boxing kangaroos. But they took a little heat for that. Now, since then, I've had bullhide, I've had cowhide, I've had snake, some kind of snake skin or whatever. I remember going to the zoo one time, and there was some handler of reptiles that had a snake out, like wrapped around her neck and all over her arms, and was showing the kids. It was one of those things, an educational thing.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said something, and I said to the boys, I said, yeah, they felt it. Oh, it feels like so. I said, kind of feels like Pawpaw's boots, doesn't it? And that girl, the girl with the short hair, looked up at me like, do you know where you are? How dare you to mention that? I didn't think about it. Anyway, I've never bought a pair. This will sound really, I guess this is not very good. But for a while, you could buy elephant skin boots. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that's the toughest skin in the world to have on boots. But then the whole thing of it's not good to kill elephants and things like that, which I agree, it's not good to kill elephants. But I think they ran out of all the skin they had held from the time that they got it. Mm-hmm. And so you can't really buy I don't think it's illegal, but I mean, you have to buy it from eBay or someplace where somebody was selling thousands of dollars, I'm sure, for elephant skin boots. Anyway,
I don't think I've ever even seen elephant skin boots.
Oh, they're great, man.
Or even, I don't think I even knew that.
I wish I bought them the first time when I first knew about them.
Why? What? Just because
they're toughest skin. It's the toughest skin.
Yeah.
For just to be tough. I don't mean I would be tough, but my boots would endure.
For all of your workout on the ranch.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think I like a tough skin boot. You could take a licking and keep on ticking.
Okay.
Well, I bring that up because there is a movement afoot.
No pun intended.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
There's really no pun intended.
It actually was no pun intended. Isn't that funny? Bringing back extinct animals for the purpose of using the hides for example, your purse.
What?
How would you like to have a purse that is a T-Rex skin?
No, I'm good.
They bring back the T-Rex. This is a claim from engineers. How would you like to have a dinosaur skin purse? T-Rex from DNA. This is sort of like from, what was the movie where they made them all come back?
Jurassic Park.
Right.
Carry
a wallet made of dinosaur skin.
Who cares, really?
I don't know. I would say I don't want dinosaurs to be brought back. I don't think they're bringing the animals back, like to kill them and make them into a wallet. I think they could take the DNA and then make the skin.
Really?
Yeah. Let's explore for a sec. Creative agency VML, along with genomic engineers at the Organoid Company and Lab Grown Leather, that's a company, announced a partnership this last week. Mm-hmm. Their ambitious goal to revolutionize the $780 billion global leather industry.
Well, that's why you do it.
There you go. $780 billion global leather industry by introducing prehistoric biology into the luxury materials market. Here's a quote. This is from Bas Korsten, Global Chief Creative Officer at VML. With T-Rex leather, we're harnessing the biology of the past to create the materials of the future. I almost could have said that like Kamala Harris. It's that kind of sentence. So the science behind the innovation, it uses a biotechnology to merge ancient genetics with modern manufacturing. Instead of attempting to clone the actual dinosaurs, these companies are taking a more focused approach. They're isolating the genetic information specific to the skin tissue. So you could have a whole lab with a row of this is T-Rex, and this is Velociraptor, and this is the whatever the other ones are. There are more than two.
Did you say
dinosaurs?
You said
T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Velociraptors.
I'm trying to remember.
The Stegosaurus.
Years ago when
Is it Stegosaurus?
Yeah, that's one.
The one with the things on its back?
Yeah, that might be right. I used to know them all. Man, I could identify them all when my boys were little in those years, like between 4 and 7. I knew all the dinosaurs because they knew all the dinosaurs.
So if somebody came up to you with their purse, you'd say, Stegosaurus.
Well, maybe back then I would have. It's like I knew what all the clouds were too. In kindergarten, they all studied clouds.
I named clouds.
And so I knew what all the different cloud formations were.
Cumulus.
Uh-huh.
You got the stratus.
So, but if you look at that, you can identify them?
Cirrus, cumulonimbus, nimbus.
Yeah.
You have cumulus, cumulonimbus. You have cirrus.
Yeah.
And then a couple others.
The
cirrus are the ones way up there.
Okay.
The ones down here
are
like
those
10,000 feet.
Cumulus?
Yeah. The little puffy ones.
Yeah.
I think that's they have other brands too of clouds.
Well, you passed. I don't know if I'd call that an A, but you passed.
Never got them anyway. Believe me, I'll still run home and be proud of my report card.
Very good. Good for you. Have you noticed anything about, it's kind of, maybe this is really a silly question. Once I saw this, then I thought, oh yeah, now I see what they're talking about. I never would have noticed this though. Dogs and cats, completely different.
Dogs and cats.
Animals. Okay. Different body types, different shapes of heads.
Mm-hmm.
But over the years, they've gotten more similar. The dogs and cats.
Dogs look more like cats, or cats look more like dogs.
It's not that they look. It's that they have evolved to have more similar head shapes than dogs and cats had millions of years ago.
You're saying dogs and cats look more dissimilar in the past, and now they look more, and that happened not through evolution, but like through breeding, or
through breeding. Oh, gotcha. Exactly, through breeding.
Got it.
And it's because over the years, breeders have noticed what we want in our pets.
Oh, what is the market demand or whatever?
Yeah, they've bred dogs and cats to try to bring these features, to make these features more common. They call it baby heads. We want our pets to have baby heads.
What, to look like people?
To look like babies. Big eyes, round heads, short muzzles.
I like short muzzles.
You can get those fixed now. If your muzzle's a little too long, you can get that fixed.
Whack.
But they call it, let me see if I can find it here, baby-like features.
Okay.
Baby schema. Scientists call it a baby schema.
Okay.
That triggers a nurturing response in humans. And that's why it's happened. And if they show, there's a picture here in this article that accompanies the study, and there's a pug and a Persian cat right next to each other, and their heads are exactly the same shape. Their heads are exactly the same shape
because
they've been bred that way.
Funny.
They've been bred to have those characteristics that breeders know pet owners want. And why do we want it? Because it reminds us of babies, makes us feel kind of nurtury and warm.
So you really could be your fur baby.
Well, maybe that's where that came from. I don't know.
Before we go, I do want to say, if you're going to the ballpark today, I mentioned that it's a big 3-game series with the Mariners.
Yep.
Now, the Rangers, just a week ago, were leading in the West. Now, the West used to be called the American League, the AL Worst. It is the AL West, but it used to be called the AL Worst. It's not the AL Worst anymore. And so while we're still doing pretty good, this is an important series against our AL West competitors. They are also in the AL West, the Seattle Mariners. So if you beat somebody in your own, you move up faster.
Are we still doing pretty good?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We were a week ago, we were doing pretty good, but we lost the series to the Angels.
Yeah, but then I thought I heard you say we're still doing pretty good.
No, well, still doing good if you compare our percentage against other. But the problem is it's so competitive in the AL West that if you're at the bottom of the AL West, while you still could be beating lots of other teams inside the West, you're at the next to the bottom.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where we are right now. But I bring all that up to say that if you go to the game today, on Friday, if you go to the game on Friday, it's a very special day today.
Tell me why.
Because it was on this day in 1908, when you stand in the seventh inning.
Seventh inning stretch,
Seventh inning stretch. You can thank Jack Norworth and Albert von Treiser.
Okay.
Which really bums me out because that was going to be one of my witness protection names, Albert von Treiser. Can't use it now. Jack Norworth and Albert von Treiser in 1908 copyrighted Take Me Out to the Ballgame.
Wow.
There you go. Yay, history.
Love it.
Isn't that fun?
Love it.
What if that's the first time a candy was named in a song?
Peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't know. Good question. I bet it's not.
Probably not. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I have to do some research on that. You know, Cracker Jack has not been the same since they made all the toys where you can't choke on them.
Not as fun anymore.
Not at all. I love the whistles you could like hold between your teeth.
Little
and
fake,
you tell the kids, just don't inhale. And then, of course, everybody did, right? And I liked tuna before it was dolphin free. Just a little bit of dolphin in my tuna.
The good old days.
You know, all those things. Now they give you a little sticker, you know, of a flower. And it's like, I don't want a flower.
It's not the same.
I want a whistle.
I want a fake diamond ring.
Yeah, fake diamond ring. Perhaps a weapon or two in my Cracker Jack. So thanks, Jack Norworth, and for stealing my name, Albert von Treiser. Maybe I spelled it different.
You could probably do that.
Albert von Treiser. So this day in 1908, they wrote or they copyrighted Take Me Out to the Ballgame.
So your homework is to figure out if candy was mentioned in a song before 1908.
Well, first of all,
copyrighted before 1908.
Right. First of all, it would have to be a candy that existed before 1908.
Right. Well, yeah.
No, all I'm saying is it would have to be, you know, maybe chewing gum or bubble gum or something was in a song. But Cracker Jack is a specific, that is a brand, right?
So you mean a brand of candy, not just any kind of candy.
Like you say Snickers or something like that. Not just a candy bar, but you say a Snickers bar or whatever. Anyway, I bet it may be the first.
Maybe
1908. They didn't start making candy till like 1900. Okay, so thanks for being here. Let me just remind, if you want to email us, and what were you emailing? If you wanted to email to find out
the 43 embarrassing grammar mistakes that even smart people make.
Yeah, if you want to talk,
maybe not so much.
If you want to talk good, send a podcast, send an email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify and Apple and all the others, including YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share, and we will see you next time. Da 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 We got to settle that aside. Got to compartmentalize and act like there is nothing else but this one thing.
43 embarrassing grammar mistakes.
Perfect.
For the people who are making them, it's not embarrassing because they don't know.
Right.
You have to be aware. You have to have some amount of self-awareness to be
or have someone like me around to point it out the mistake.
Yeah, that helps too.
People like when you do that. I didn't mean to say that.
I know.
Good
That's why it was funny.
Nah, it's not funny. It makes me sound bad.
Well, I know you didn't mean to. Badder. They saw him playing Candy Crush one day. And now he's also the secretary of
You see what President Trump said to Terry Moran? Basically, he said, "You're blowing it. Mm-hmm. You have a great opportunity here to interview me on the 100th day."
Yeah.
They offered me whoever I wanted, and I picked you, frankly, because I didn't know who you were. Jimmy Fallon said, which is really interesting because that's the same thing that he said to J.D. Vance. I picked you because I didn't know who you were.